Captain L. W Bailey, as some call him, Bill Bailey, United States Navy, second in command of the USS Vincennes during all the major campaigns in the desperate Pacific Sea War. He developed such an affection for the ship, the USS Vincennes, that his first thought upon returning to the United States was to visit the city for whom the ship was named and to see what kind of people lived there. Captain Bailey arrived in San Francisco, where he had flown from New Zealand, and Captain Bailey wrote the Sun Commercial saying that he was planning to spend a few hours in Vincennes between trains on Saturday, February 2nd, 1946. Saturday night he arrived, and he was a guest at a small dinner party held at the Grand Hotel arranged by Vincennes citizens who attended the launching of the first Vincennes at Quincy in 1936, which Captain Bailey had also attended. The veteran sea fighter spoke off the record for nearly 2 hours of his experiences in the Pacific and of the great part of the Vincennes had in winning the war against the Japanese. He discovered that the Vincennes had surely avenged the sinking of the first USS Vincennes on that dark night in American naval history when our ship and 3 other cruisers went down off Guadalcanal. Captain Bailey said that the new Vincennes last Navy Day cruised over the grave of the first Vincennes and paid her tribute. The new Vincennes was one of the workhorses of the Navy in the campaign against the enemy. She took part in every major campaign after June 1944. She literally wore out all her guns, so hard did she pound the Japs. VJ Day found the Vincennes in a Pacific port completely re-gunned and ready to resume the campaign against the Japs. In the bombardment of Okinawa, the Vincennes shot 3 full shiploads of ammunition. She played such a heavy role because she was the most modern of all the cruisers. Hers was the latest radar. Her fire patrol was fresh from the laboratories. She was a far cry from the first Vincennes which went down off Guadalcanal. There was almost as much difference between these 2 Vincennes as far as up-to-the-minute fighting man of war was concerned as there was between the sloop Vincennes and the first steamboat. Captain Bailey had with him a remarkable series of pictures of Vincennes in action. Some of them showed all of the new radar developments, and publications of them is forbidden. One series of 4 pictures shown in kamikaze attack on the Vincennes. The Vincennes picture shows the Jap at the start of his dive with the ack busting around his plane. The final picture shows the Jap hitting the water just off the Vincennes stern. This was about the closest call the Vincennes had. The Vincennes has at least one Jap warship to its credit, which it sank in the crucial battle of the Philippine Sea. Our ship carried 1,400 men during the war, and not one of those men were lost in action. One of the prides of the Vincennes is a letter from Colonel W.J. Whaling, commanding the 29th Marines of the 6th Marine Division in the field at Okinawa, praising the ship's part in the campaign. The letter addressed to Captain W.G. Lawler, skipper of the Vincennes, reads as follows. The officers and men of the 29th Marines join me in thanking you and your fine crew for the outstanding support you had given us in our action on this island. We feel that your naval gunfire was materially aided every advance we made while you were supporting us. The 29th Marines send best wishes and good luck to the USS Vincennes. Captain Bailey remained overnight and Sunday morning was taken on a tour of Vincennes. He was shown the Clark Memorial, the Lincoln Shrine, the Harrison House, and the Territorial Hall, the city's parks, and other places of interest. He left the city Sunday afternoon en route to his home in Rhode Island, where his wife and 3 sons live. Captain Bailey had seen action in both theaters of war. He formerly commanded a destroyer. He is an authority on gunnery and specialist in torpedoes particularly. He is a graduate of Annapolis and has 14 years sea duty. He is on his way to New York where he expects to be assigned to shore duty. One of the young captains, he is 41, Captain Bailey said he had enjoyed his visit in Vincennes tremendously, that he had a town and a people as fine as the ship. Guests at the dinner party that night included Mr. and Mrs. J.W. Kimmel, Miss H.A. Oliphant, Mrs. John L. Baker and Claude E. Gregg, Mr. and Mrs. John Kleemeyer, Mr. and Mrs. Clay Johnson, Judge and Miss Curtis G. Shake, Mr. and Mrs. Floyd Stoting, Mr. and Mrs. Perry Winman, Carl Fitch, John Selby, Mr. and Mrs. Morris Westfall, and Mr. and Mrs. Ross H. Gary. Most of those were city leaders and important businessmen in the city at that time. Rear Admiral Leonard William Bailey United States Navy, retired, died at his home on Calvert Place, Jamestown. Born January 11, 1905. He graduated from Cranston High School and from the Navy Academy in 1927. Admiral Bailey held a citation of the Secretary of the Navy for outstanding service in the North African Theater during World War II. He served on the USS California in the Pacific Theater and on destroyers Hull and McFarland, and for 3 years in China on the USS Clark. He attended the Newport Torpedo School. Before the war, he was in command of the Melville Field Depot in 1942. He commanded the USS Murphy in the African campaign. The ship was cut in two while on convoy duty, and he was returned to his country for hospital treatment. He returned to duty on a destroyer, Hubbard, and was later executive officer of the cruiser USS Vincennes. He also served in the Budget Bureau of the Office of the Secretary of the Navy in Washington before being retired as a Rear Admiral. Leonard W Bailey, 53, died January 5, 1959. Buried in Arlington Cemetery, Plot Section 11, Site 673.